The empty space, the galaxy was never truly silent. Countless stars burned, countless empires thrived, yet there was always a whisper about a planet that once stood proud. A world called Earth. For 2,000 years it was gone, vanished from all records, missing from every chart. Some said it was destroyed, some said it was cursed, but most believed it was simply erased from existence. The Galactic Council had long erased the name from their histories. They called it a myth, a legend told to scare children. They mocked the idea that humans ever lived. Yet deep inside their hidden archives, there were warnings, old records written in fear. They spoke of humans as deathworlders, dangerous, unpredictable, and stubborn beyond reason. For 2,000 years, the galaxy believed itself safe, but then, one ordinary day, alarms began to echo in the high chambers of the council. Their great star maps began to change. Lines of light trembled, coordinates shifted, and then without warning, Earth appeared again. The blue planet shone on the display, orbiting its sun like it had never been gone. Council members froze, their voices rose in panic. "Impossible!" one shouted. "Worlds do not vanish and return," another hissed. "If this is true, then the humans are back." The word spread through the chamber like poison. Admirals and kings across the galaxy heard the news. Empires that once laughed now trembled. If Earth had returned, then humanity had returned as well. And no one knew what they had become during those long years of silence. A fleet was sent, the council demanded answers. Shining warships cut through space and entered the Sol system. Their instruments scanned Earth, yet something was strange. There was power on that world. Energy fields unseen before. Signals that jammed communication. One alien captain ordered a broadcast. "This is the council fleet. Earth is under investigation. State your status," but no answer came. Only static filled the air, then one by one, the fleet's signals began to vanish. Panic spread. Ships were reporting strange shadows, black shapes moving in the void, but no clear image could be sent. One cruiser tried to retreat, yet its engines shut down in an instant. A cold voice whispered through the comms, "You should not have come here." And then silence consumed them. In the council chamber, the last transmission ended with a scream. And then nothing, the fleet was gone. The galaxy held its breath, the council demanded more answers. But none came. Earth remained quiet, glowing blue and green, beautiful and untouchable. The mystery only grew. Stories began to spread. Smugglers swore they saw giant warships near Earth, ships unlike anything seen before. Black steel vessels with strange glowing lines, weapons that hummed with unknown energy. They did not fly with clumsy engines. They glided like predators, patient and deadly. At first, many thought these were lies, exaggerations made to spread fear, but then more and more reports came, even from neutral traders. "The humans are back," they whispered in dark corners, "and they are not the same as before." Inside the council, fear turned into division. Some wanted to send more fleets, others wanted to erase the planet again, but a few warned, if they survive 2,000 years of exile, then they are not weak. They may have grown beyond us, and yet the arrogance of the galaxy did not end. One empire, proud and greedy, announced they would conquer Earth themselves. They mocked the council's fear. They claimed humans would fall as easily as before. But those who studied history knew the truth. Humanity had never fallen easily. They had fought wars against stronger foes, and even when beaten, they always returned. Now the question spread across the stars, whispered in fear and awe. What had humanity become in 2,000 years of silence? As the galaxy waited, Earth remained quiet. No messages, no signs of peace, no signs of war, only silence. And silence was the most terrifying answer of all. In the shadows of space, human eyes watched the galaxy with cold patience. They remembered everything. They had not forgotten the exile, the humiliation, the betrayal. For 2,000 years they built in secret, hidden in a place no alien could find, and now their time had come. The empty space was no longer empty. It was a warning, a promise. Earth had returned, and with it, the trembling of the galaxy had only just begun. Whispers of fear. The disappearance of the council fleet spread like wildfire across the galaxy. No one could explain how an entire armada had gone silent. No wreckage was found. No distress beacons remained. Only whispers that the humans had returned. Merchants and smugglers carried the rumors faster than official reports. In hidden spaceports and crowded stations, alien traders whispered to each other. "They say the humans destroyed the whole fleet without firing a single shot." Another voice hissed back. "No, I heard they captured the ships and dragged them into the shadows of their planet. Every tale grew darker and heavier. Feeding the fear, the Galactic Council tried to calm the panic. They released statements saying the fleet suffered from technical failure, but no one believed them. Too many strange signals had been recorded. Too many voices had screamed before cutting into silence. Soon the smaller empires began to prepare for war. They remembered the old legends. Humans were not just warriors, they were survivors. They were called deathworlders for a reason. To live on Earth was to live on a planet where everything could kill you. Storms, beasts, fire, ice, and yet they had thrived. If such a species had disappeared for 2,000 years, then returned, who could imagine what they had become? In the council chambers, the fear became poison. Debates turned into shouting matches. One ambassador cried, "We must attack before they grow stronger." Another screamed, "They are already stronger, fools. We must find peace before it is too late." But the council could not agree. Pride and arrogance blinded them, and their indecision only fed the whispers across the stars. Children on distant worlds began to ask questions. Who are the humans? Mothers told them to stay quiet. They are a people who do not die. They are the ones our ancestors feared. Soldiers on alien barracks trained harder, their eyes looking over their shoulders as if shadows of human soldiers were already among them. Old archives once hidden began to surface. Stories written by terrified explorers from ages past. Humans never surrender. Even when defeated, they rise again. One record read, "They are clever, unpredictable, and they always find a way to win." Another text whispered, "If you push them to the edge, they will push back harder than you can imagine." As the story spread, fear turned into unrest. Some empires strengthened their borders. Others recalled their fleets from deep space. Every admiral wondered, what if the humans come for us? Meanwhile, on neutral stations, a few brave merchants claimed they had seen human ships with their own eyes. "They do not look like ours," one whispered in a bar filled with smoke and alien eyes. "They are not covered in symbols or banners. Their ships are black like shadows, glowing with strange light as if alive," another added. "They never broadcast a signal, they never speak. They only watch." And the room grew silent. No one dared to laugh. The council tried to silence these rumors, but they could not stop them. The whispers had already taken root, spreading like fire. Every alien race that had once mocked the idea of humans now trembled at the thought of their return. Yet among the whispers there were also voices of ambition. Greedy empires who saw Earth not as a threat, but as a prize. They told themselves that the humans were myths, or perhaps a weak people pretending to be strong. They dreamed of conquering the blue planet and claiming its secrets. But those who remembered history knew better. Humanity had always been underestimated, mocked, and ignored, and yet they always turned that arrogance into their greatest weapon. On one cold night in the council's high city, a lone messenger walked into the chamber, trembling as he spoke. "We intercepted a transmission from the Sol system." Silence fell. Every ear leaned forward. It was a voice. Clear and sharp, the messenger whispered. It said only one thing. The council chamber waited, hearts pounding. "It said," the messenger breathed, "We remember." The words echoed in the hall like thunder. The room froze. The ambassadors looked at each other with wide eyes. Some trembled, some cursed, some whispered prayers, because they all knew what those two words meant. Humanity had not forgotten their exile, their betrayal, their pain. They remembered everything. And the galaxy understood that if humans remembered, then revenge was not far away. Across the stars, the whispers grew louder, louder than before, like a storm before the flood. Merchants, soldiers, rulers, and even children repeated the same phrase in fear. The humans remember, and with every whisper, the galaxy trembled a little more. First contact with shadows. The galaxy had lived in fear of whispers, but whispers soon turned into reality. The first alien empire bold enough to challenge Earth gathered its fleets. Their ships were vast and armed with weapons forged over centuries. Their commanders laughed at the council's fear. They promised to capture Earth and enslave any human who dared resist. When their fleet entered the Sol system, silence met them. Earth floated before them. Calm and beautiful, blue oceans shimmered, green lands glowed, but there was no welcome. No broadcast, no challenge, only silence. The alien admiral sneered. "They hide because they are weak," he ordered his ships closer. Scanners reached out, but readings returned strange results. Energy spikes flickered. Shadows moved where no ships should be. "Interference," one officer reported. "Their planet is surrounded by some kind of field." Before the admiral could respond, The shadows shifted and something emerged. Out of the void came a shape, black steel against the stars, larger than anything the aliens had ever seen. A warship of human design, sleek, silent, its surface glowing with faint lines of blue light. It did not broadcast a signal. It did not send a warning. It only appeared. Like a predator watching prey. The alien fleet paused. Their laughter faded. "Identify that ship," the admiral barked. But his crew shook their heads. "It does not match any record, Admiral. It is not in the archives." More shadows moved. More ships emerged, 1, then 2, then 10, until the darkness itself seemed filled with human vessels. The alien fleet suddenly felt small. Their thousands of ships were outnumbered. Their weapons looked weak against the unknown technology before them. Then it happened, without sound, without warning. One human ship fired. A single beam of light cut across the void. It did not explode. It did not roar. It simply erased an alien battleship. The mighty vessel vanished in an instant, reduced to dust and silence. Panic spread across the alien fleet. "Defensive formations. Fire all weapons," the admiral shouted. Thousands of cannons and missiles screamed through space. Yet when the smoke cleared, the human ships still stood untouched, their black hulls glowing with strange light, absorbing or deflecting every strike. The aliens screamed as their ships were destroyed one after another. Human vessels moved like hunters, precise and calm, no wasted shots, no mercy. Then came the voice for the first time in 2,000 years. A human voice echoed across alien comms, calm, cold, and filled with power. "You should not have come," it said. The alien admiral froze, his body trembled. "Who are you?" he demanded, his voice breaking. The reply came sharp as a blade. "We are the ones you tried to erase. We are the ones you betrayed. We are humanity." The alien fleet collapsed. Some ships tried to flee, but human vessels moved faster, intercepting, disabling, capturing. Soon the battlefield was silent once again, but this time only human warships remained, standing guard over Earth like wolves protecting their den. The galaxy received the first real proof. Transmissions of the battle leaked across star networks. Images of human ships, black and terrifying, destroying fleets with ease. Alien citizens watched in horror. Leaders trembled. Soldiers whispered prayers. On distant worlds, young cadets asked their commanders, "If they are this strong, how can we fight them?" The commanders had no answer. Their silence was the loudest truth. The Council tried to hold control, but the fear was too great. One by one, empires demanded emergency sessions. "The humans are back," they shouted. "They are not weak. They are gods among us." Others begged for peace. Some called for surrender, yet none knew what humanity truly wanted. Because the humans had said little, they had made no demands. No declarations, only one warning. "Do not come." That silence was more frightening than war. What were they building? What did they plan? What would they do next? Some believed humanity wanted revenge. Others believed they wanted conquest. A few dared to whisper a different thought. Perhaps humanity wanted something worse, to watch the galaxy tremble, to remind them of their mistake. On Earth, lights burned in the great cities, hidden for 2,000 years. Humans looked to the stars not with fear, but with determination. Their fleets were ready, their weapons unmatched, their memories sharp. The galaxy had seen the shadows of humanity, but not yet their full strength, and deep inside, every alien ruler knew the truth. This was only the beginning. The first contact with shadows had ended. But soon the galaxy would face the full light of humanity's return, the hidden empire for 2,000 years. Earth had been a ghost, a name whispered in fear, a myth erased from records. No one knew how it had vanished. No one understood how it had returned. But the truth was darker, stranger, and far more terrifying than the galaxy could imagine. When the Council exiled Earth, they believed they had destroyed humanity's future. Fleets were shattered, colonies abandoned, Earth itself cut off from the trade routes of the stars. The galaxy celebrated, thinking the humans would fade into nothing. But humans were not like others. They did not fade, they endured in secret. Humanity discovered a door, a hidden path into another dimension, a fold in space that no alien mind had ever found. Scientists called it the Veil, a place where time flowed differently, where outsiders could not see or reach them. While the galaxy believed Earth was destroyed, humanity slipped behind the veil and vanished from sight. Inside that hidden world, humanity rebuilt. The planet turned into a fortress. Cities rose like towers of steel and glass. Vast shipyards circled the Earth like rings of fire. Millions worked in silence, generation after generation. Children grew up hearing the stories of betrayal, the lies of the council, the laughter of the galaxy, and each child swore the same vow: we will return, and so they waited. For centuries they waited. Their fleets grew larger, their weapons became stranger, their minds sharper. They studied every alien technology they had once seen, then surpassed it. They created engines that could fold space, cannons that could cut through planets, shields that could drink the fire of stars, but still they waited. Because humanity did not want revenge in haste. They wanted revenge perfected within the veil. Earth united under one banner. No longer divided by nations, no longer torn by politics. Every human worked for the same dream. The dream of return. Their leaders were chosen not by wealth or power, but by vision. Men and women who remembered the pain of exile and the promise of vengeance. They built the Silent Armada, fleets of black warships designed to hide in the void. Their hulls forged from living metal. Their weapons cloaked in silence. Each ship was a predator, waiting, watching. When the galaxy thought humans were gone, the humans were learning how to strike without being seen. Yet humanity did not only build weapons, they built knowledge. Entire generations studied the alien empires from afar, watching their wars, their politics, their greed, learning their weaknesses, every betrayal, every arrogance, every blind spot. The humans wrote it down, studied it, prepared for the day when the galaxy would face them again. And when Earth finally stepped out of the veil, the galaxy felt their presence like a storm breaking the sky. But what terrified the Council most was not the fleets, not the weapons, not even the mysterious technology. It was the unity, because no alien empire could understand a species that refused to break. For 2,000 years humanity had been alone, yet they did not turn against each other. They did not fall into chaos. They became stronger, sharper, more dangerous. The whispers in the council chambers grew darker. If they survived the veil, if they learned in silence, then no one can match them now. Some empires begged to open talks. Others demanded preemptive strikes, but deep inside they all knew the truth. It was already too late. Humanity had not returned as refugees. They had returned as rulers on Earth itself. The people stood beneath the night sky, watching the stars that once betrayed them. Old men wept. Young children cheered. Soldiers lifted their weapons in silence, because they all knew what came next. The galaxy thought it had erased Earth, but Earth had become something greater in the dark. It had become a hidden empire, a shadow that had grown into a giant, and now the giant was awake. Empires tremble. The galaxy had always been proud. Empires rose and fell, wars raged and ended. The Council had survived every storm, but never before had they faced silence that felt like doom. Humanity had returned, and their return was not filled with speeches or demands, only shadows and quiet strength. On distant worlds, rulers sat in their palaces, trembling as reports poured in, fleets destroyed without explanation, colonies whispering of human scouts seen in the night, stations claiming they were being watched. Yet no human envoy came forward. No ambassador stepped into the council chambers. And that silence was worse than war. Alien citizens filled the streets with fear. In markets and ports, they repeated the same words over and over. The humans remember. Some trembled, others wept. Even the boldest of soldiers looked to the stars with dread, because they knew no weapon had stopped the humans. No strategy had slowed them. In the high halls of the Galactic Council, arguments turned into chaos. One ambassador shouted, "We must strike Earth before they strike us." Another roared, "Did you not see what they did to the fleet? We cannot fight them." "We must beg for peace," a third whispered. "Peace is not what they want. They waited 2,000 years. No one waits that long without reason." Admirals of great fleets locked themselves in war rooms, maps of the stars glowing before them. Yet every plan collapsed under one truth. No one knew the full strength of humanity. They had only seen glimpses, a handful of ships, a single battle, and that alone was enough to shatter entire armadas. The fear spread further when a message arrived at the council. No one knew how it was sent. No transmission was detected. The words simply appeared on their main screens in every chamber. 4 simple words glowing in harsh white letters. "We are watching you." The chamber froze. No one spoke, no one breathed. Then panic erupted. Ambassadors screamed. Some demanded war, some demanded surrender. But in their hearts they all felt the same chill. Humanity was not only alive, they were already inside. Already watching across the galaxy, smaller empires fell into despair. Some sealed their borders, cutting all travel. Others declared they would ally with humanity before it was too late. But the larger powers, proud and arrogant, tried to stand taller. Their leaders shouted in public, "Humans are nothing, we will crush them if they come." Yet behind closed doors, their hands shook, their voices cracked. In the training halls of the soldier academies, recruits asked their commanders, "If the humans come, what do we do?" And the commanders had no answer because no drill, no weapon, no shield could prepare them for enemies who had spent 2,000 years perfecting themselves. The whispers turned into prophecy. Old priests spoke of a forgotten race who would return from the dark to judge the stars. They claimed this prophecy had always been about humans, temples filled with frightened believers all praying for mercy. Meanwhile, in hidden chambers deep inside the council, a few desperate leaders tried to contact humanity. Secret envoys were sent carrying messages of peace, of surrender, of offers to share power. None returned. Their ships vanished without trace. Only silence followed. The council's fear turned into despair when another message appeared across their networks, this time broadcasted openly. A human voice, calm, cold, filled with certainty. "You erased us. But we endured. You mocked us, but we grew stronger. You betrayed us, but we remember. Now the galaxy will learn what it means to tremble." The word spread across every world, every station, every screen. No one could escape them. No one could deny them. Some empires began to collapse under the weight of fear. Rebellions broke out as citizens begged their rulers not to provoke humanity. Others abandoned the council entirely, preparing to kneel before Earth if it meant survival. The galaxy, once proud and arrogant, was now drowning in terror. Because they finally understood the truth, humanity did not need to declare war. They did not need to conquer. Their very presence was enough to make empires tremble, and Earth had only just begun to show itself. The first battle of return. The galaxy had always believed in numbers, in strength of fleets, in the unity of empires when danger rose. They told themselves that no single world could ever stand against them, no matter how powerful. But when whispers of humanity spread like fire, they knew they had to act. The council called it the Coalition, a gathering of ships from every corner of the galaxy. Thousands upon thousands of warships, battleships heavier than mountains, carriers filled with fighters, dreadnoughts armed with weapons designed to crack planets, the largest fleet ever assembled in history. Admirals stood tall before their soldiers, hiding their fear. "The humans cannot face this," they shouted. "Their shadows cannot match our fire." Their speeches echoed across comms, filling soldiers with false courage, yet deep in their eyes there was doubt, because every one of them remembered the recordings. Black ships erasing fleets without effort. The Coalition fleet entered the Sol system, a storm of firepower, their engines burning, their weapons ready. The admirals promised swift victory. They expected humans to beg for peace, or at least to fight desperately. But Earth did not tremble. Earth was silent. Then the shadows appeared. Human warships slid out of the darkness. Not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands. The black hulls forming lines across the stars, glowing with pale blue light. The galaxy had never seen such unity, such perfection. Every human ship moved as if guided by one mind. The admirals of the Coalition hesitated, fear spreading in their veins. But pride forced their hands. "Fire," they commanded. And the void lit up with endless firepower. Beams, missiles, cannons, storms of destruction raced across space. The largest attack in galactic history. But when the light faded, the humans were still there. Their shields burned with faint blue fire, their ships unharmed, like giants standing against the storm. And then humanity answered. It began with silence, then a pulse, a wave of light sweeping across the battlefield. Alien ships shuddered. Their engines failed. Their weapons froze. Systems collapsed one by one. Admirals screamed as their fleets died before their eyes. Human ships moved with calm precision. Each strike was exact. Each beam of energy cut through multiple warships. Entire squadrons vanished in moments. Dreadnoughts exploded like paper under the human assault. The Coalition fleet shattered like glass. Panic consumed the aliens. Soldiers abandoned their posts. Admirals begged for retreat. Ships turned and fled. But human warships were faster, gliding through the void like predators, cutting down anything that tried to escape. One alien commander managed to open a broadcast, his voice trembling. "This is not war, this is annihilation. They are not fighting us, they are showing us." His words cut into static as his ship was torn apart. Across the stars, the battle was broadcasted by accident. The screams of admirals, the images of fleets erased. Entire worlds watched in horror. Every citizen, every soldier, every ruler saw the truth. Humanity was not just back, they were unstoppable. On Earth, people stood in silence as they watched the victory unfold, not with cheers, not with celebration, but with cold acceptance. For them, it was not just a battle, it was justice. The first answer to 2,000 years of betrayal. The coalition was gone. The largest fleet in galactic history destroyed in less than an hour. Billions across the galaxy trembled, because they realized no one could stand against humanity. No empire, no army, no council, and yet humanity did not invade. They did not claim worlds. They did not speak. They simply destroyed the fleet and then returned to silence, leaving the galaxy in terror. In the aftermath, rulers across the stars fell into despair. Some cried that war was hopeless. Others whispered that surrender was the only path. But deep inside, they all asked the same question. What do the humans want? For when the smoke cleared, a single human message remained on the battlefield. Written in glowing letters across the void, this was only a warning. The trembling galaxy. The galaxy had seen wars before, but never like this. The destruction of the coalition fleet spread like fire through every star system. No empire could hide it, no ruler could deny it. Billions had watched human ships tear apart the strongest armada ever built, and now there was only fear. In the markets of distant stations, merchants whispered with shaking voices. They erased the fleet in less than an hour. Smugglers in dark corners hissed. It was not even a battle. It was a lesson. Priests in temples cried to their gods. The humans have returned, and judgment follows with them. Entire worlds trembled under the weight of silence. The Galactic Council was broken. Ambassadors argued until their voices cracked. Some demanded surrender. Others demanded exile once again. But none dared to say what they truly feared, because in their hearts they all knew the truth. Humanity had become more than an empire. They had become a shadow that stood over every world. Messages flooded into Earth from desperate rulers, offers of peace, offers of wealth, offers of allegiance, but no answer came. Humanity remained silent, and that silence was worse than thunder. Then one night, the silence ended. A transmission reached every world, every station, every ship across the stars. It was not a threat, not a demand. It was a single voice, calm, human. For 2,000 years we endured. For 2,000 years we remembered. You thought we would vanish, but we endured in the dark. We returned stronger than before. And now the galaxy must decide, will you stand beside us, or will you tremble before us? The words echoed across the stars. No one escaped them. Every ruler, every soldier, every child heard the same choice, ally or tremble. Some empires bent the knee immediately, their leaders announcing loyalty to Earth, their fleets offered in service, their soldiers swearing oaths of unity. They hoped obedience would save them. Others resisted, whispering that humanity could not rule forever. But none dared to raise fleets again. Not after the warning, not after the first battle. On Earth, the people stood together, their cities alive with light, their fleets orbiting in endless silence. Humanity had no need to scream, no need to conquer with fire. Their power was enough. Their patience was enough, and so, the galaxy began to change, slowly at first, then faster. Trade routes shifted toward Earth. Old enemies sought human favor. The Council lost its power as more worlds turned away one by one. Empires aligned themselves with the blue planet they had once exiled, until even the proudest rulers bowed their heads in every starport and station. The whispers became truth. The galaxy trembles, and it trembles because of Earth. But what truly terrified the galaxy was not humanity's weapons, not their fleets, but their silence. Because silence meant patience, silence meant planning. Silence meant they had not yet revealed their true purpose. And in hidden chambers deep beneath the Earth, human leaders spoke quietly, their voices steady. We have shown them a warning. We have reminded them of our strength. But this is not the end. This is only the beginning. The galaxy would never forget the return of Earth. It would never laugh at humanity again. It would never dare to erase them from history, for the shadow of 2,000 years had turned into a light so blinding that no star could ignore it. The final image burned into the minds of all who lived in that age was not of a battle, not of destruction, but of a single human fleet moving toward the Galactic Council itself. Silent, endless, unstoppable. Their message written in fire across the stars. We were gone for 2,000 years, now it is your turn to tremble. And tremble they did. Every empire, every ruler, every soul, because the age of humanity had begun. and the galaxy would never be the same again.